And like I was saying, oh, okay, I think Robin says he's starting to hear something, but it's extremely quiet and muffled. So if you can hear, just let me know you can hear me, right? And I was thanking you all for joining in what I was saying earlier. And I was saying that Empower Life with Cleopatra is a space where we dive into real stories that challenge perspectives, uncover hidden truths, and expose hard realities. And whenever possible, we spark meaningful change. My name is Cleopatra, for those who are going to be watching for the first time, and I want to begin by expressing my heartfelt gratitude for your continued love and support. If you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe before we begin. That way, you won't miss a moment once we dive into today's powerful discussion. And for those joining us later, don't forget to watch till the end, subscribe, share, so that YouTube algorithm can push this to other people who need to hear it as well. And a quick reminder, if you are, if you have a story to share, you feel you want to be a guest on the show, please send an email to empowerlifewithcleopatra@gmail.com. And as you can see from the banner next to me, I did say viewer discretion is advised. Some of the footage and eyewitness testimony featured in today's episode contains scenes and descriptions that may be disturbing to some viewers. So please consider muting or turning the volume down if you're watching with children. You may want to step away during certain segments as well, right? But welcome once again. And let's just start by playing this video. Thank you so much, Robin, for acknowledging that you can hear me.
Charred bodies, destroyed homes, and smoking grain. This is what Yelwa, a village in Nigeria's central Benue state, looks like after a brutal attack by unidentified gunmen over the weekend. At least 100 people were killed, according to Amnesty International. 37-year-old farmer Fidelis Adidi lost a wife and 4 children in the attack. He says his second wife and one of his children were able to escape after being left for dead.
I was told that my wife tried escaping with one of her children, but she was shot in front of the door, which is where she fell. They butchered her, so when I came in the morning, I only identified her from a piece of clothing as she was completely burnt. I picked her and the child that was with her and went to bury them. I couldn't find the other 3 children because so many children were burnt beyond recognition, and I could not differentiate mine.
While Adidi now plans to relocate his remaining family, survivor Talatu Aguata has come back to pick up the pieces.
I woke up today wondering about my lost goods. I haven't been able to eat and I'm pregnant. I'm wondering how we will be able to cope and eat in the town where we all ran to. So I came back. Even if it's death, I don't mind. That's why I came back.
Benue is in Nigeria's Middle Belt, a region where the majority Muslim north meets the largely Christian south. The region faces competition over land use, with conflicts between herders who seek grazing for their cattle and farmers who need arable land for cultivation. These tensions are often worsened by overlapping ethnic and religious divisions. Last month, at least 42 people were shot dead by suspected herders in Benue State. According to research firm SBM Intelligence, clashes have claimed more than 500 lives in the region and forced 2.2 million to leave their homes since 2019.
Victims were men, women, and children. They were buried in mass graves, not the dignified way their families would have wanted. People here say many of them were murdered in their sleep.
We were sleeping when we heard gunshots. They started shooting from a nearby village before arriving at our village, shooting and killing people as they moved.
They add to the 52 people killed last week in the same area of central Nigeria's Plateau state. The violence is fueled by ethnic and religious tensions on one hand and shrinking access to land and resources, as well as the impact of climate change on the other.
It started up with concerns about discrimination leveled by the non-indigenous against the indigenous, and then it started off from that footing. But over time, it has metamorphosed into pure criminality and terror attacks in seeing that, large numbers of people are being displaced from their communities.
President Bola Tinubu has called for a speedy and fair resolution of the underlying causes of this decades-long crisis. And as the families of the victims say their last farewell, there are fears of more attacks or retaliation that usually follow such violence in this region. Officials say security has been stepped up around communities. But most often, perpetrators of the violence find a way to launch their attacks. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Abuja.
Right. So, as you can see from the video you've just watched and from the one you're watching again now, I've muted it so I can say one or two things. We're going to go deep into one of the hardest stories you hear, the wave of violence sweeping across Nigeria's Middle Belt, where entire villages are under attack, lives torn apart, and thousands crying out for justice. And yes, we are calling it what some people are already whispering, a potential genocide. But we're not jumping into that conclusions without the facts. We're going together step by step to understand the truth, the evidence, the faces behind it, and what we can do about it. So if you guys are ready, let us begin. We've got smoldering homes at dawn. Fields are left abandoned. Mothers who go to bed wondering if their husbands will wake up. Children who wake up in a world where their father is gone. This is real and it's happening now. In places like Yelwa in Benue and Heipang in Plateau State, and many, many villages we'll name. So let's set the scene for more videos, because I'm going to be playing a lot of videos because there's a lot. I mean, look at this. There is a lot that I have to say, but I have to say, even before I continue that, I've had a lot of, reactions, even before I started, airing this live. Way before I posted, this video, I discussed with quite a few people. And then when I posted it, when I posted the invite, I had a lot of people coming to me saying they're excited that we're going to finally talk about this. And then some people accused me of spreading propaganda and that this is not happening, that it's all a lie, and it's this and that and the other. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. But listen to this second video, and then we'll continue.
Over the weekend, as youths took to the streets of Makurdi in a defiant protest against the relentless wave of herdsmen attacks, dressed in black and wielding placards that read "Stop Benue Killings" and a cry for help. The protesters blocked major roads, including the Wurukum roundabout, bringing traffic to a standstill.
This comes just hours after a brutal overnight assault in Yelwa Guma LGA, where over 200 people were reportedly killed by suspected armed herdsmen. Despite a government ban on public demonstrations, the youths say they feel abandoned and are demanding justice, security, and accountability. Let's take a look.
Yesterday, over 200 people were killed in their sleep. What kind of a thing is this? And Mr. President is quiet. The governor is quiet. These people are not asking for political alphabet. They are just killing people in their sleep.
We have counted more than 10 trucks that are here, more than 10 for peaceful protesters. More than 10 trucks. If we count more than 15 trucks here for peaceful protesters, and these people cannot mobilize and go to Daudu where they are fighting, it is pitiful. It is disgraceful.
The governor has already given us all the necessary support, all the logistic, every support we need. And we are not going to disappoint anybody. Just be patient. What you see happen in your water yesterday is because we have taken over APA, because we are taking over Way West, because we are already pushing in Agatu. So when they were escaping, they just want to do something that they will seem that they are in control, but they are not in control.
Well, the governor, Hyacinth Alia of Benue State, on Sunday said a combined team of tactical and response squads has started arriving in the state to address the ongoing security challenges concerning what's been taking place. Don't forget to the president, as we rightly said at the start of this show, also put out a press release through his SSA stating that enough is enough, therefore giving the governor the right to go ahead and ensure that he works with security operatives to bring lasting solution to the ongoing insecurity troubles and also the crisis. Well, joining us for today's discussion here in the studio would have a security consultant, an expert.
On the night of June 13th, 2025, a brutal assault was unleashed on villagers in Yelwa, Gua local government area, by gunmen believed to be herdsmen. The Amnesty International reported around 100 dead, the scores missing and hundreds injured. The Associated Press later confirmed the toll rose to approximately 150 fatalities. The sheer number of fatalities caught global attention, but in reality, since April, violence has persisted, exceeding 200 deaths across local government areas. The root causes are not unknown. They are land disputes, shrinking pastures and grazing routes, climate change, and ethnic/religious divides. Section 14(2)(b) of the Nigerian Constitution states that security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. Section 33 says that every person has a right to life, and no one should be deprived intentionally of his life, except in execution of a court sentence. Section 41 affirms that citizens are free to live anywhere in Nigeria and not be forcibly displaced due to violence or insecurity. The situation in Benue is a failure of leadership at all levels. Those who swore an oath to protect and uphold the Constitution need to take this oath seriously and leave it to those who can. The president has tasked security agencies to crack down on those responsible, but with local communities accusing the military of complicity, trust needs to be rebuilt first. We saw about a week ago that the DSS had actually given.
Right. I'm gonna just go ahead. There's quite a few videos. In fact, I'm not gonna play all of them because it's just too much to play. But I'm playing these videos because I want to set the base and the tone for what we are talking about. Because for those people who are accusing me of being, spreading propaganda and that this doesn't exist and it's all a lie and it's not just Christians that are being attacked, it's also Muslims and everything else that they're saying. I just want you to have all the facts and then you make up your mind yourself, okay? So we know that a lot of the attacks that have been happening so far has been Christian communities that have been under siege. In the past few months, in fact, over the past few years, they've been intensified attacks. Villages like Yelwa, like we already saw in the video, Heipang in Plateau State, were turned into graveyards overnight. Some homes were touched, families were slaughtered in their sleep, and survivors left with nothing but ashes and grief. Eyewitnesses recount unimaginable horror, children crying for their mothers, elderly villagers and villagers burnt alive, entire families executed simply because of their faith. Reports from the local NGOs, international media, and rights organizations, including Reuters, I played their video earlier, Amnesty International, and the Christian Association of Nigeria confirm that these attacks are not isolated incidents. They are part of a growing pattern of targeted violence. This is not a clash. It's not random. It's systemic. It's a systematic attack, right? In Yelwa, Benue State, June 2025, a night raid, around 100 people were killed. Homes were burnt, families uprooted. In Heipang, Plateau State, in October, just last month, there were raids, murders, villages, were touched. Villagers are living in fear, right? They are even afraid of the next knock on the door because they don't know who it's going to be. And in Karim Lamido in Taraba State, May 2025, this year, dozens were killed, thousands were displaced. These are not one-off tragedies. That's what I'm saying. They are not one-off tragedies. They are patterns. And now we ask, who is behind this? It's complicated because there's more than one actor. armed herder groups labeled locally as Fulani militias, criminal bandits, extremists, insurgents. You know, they are all actors. But here's the twist. Many of the victims are Christian farming communities. Okay, and that changes the lens. Why? Because these regions, a lot of the people who are farmers are Christians, right? Majority of the farmers are Christians, while the herders are often Muslims. So while part of the motive is economic, because we know there's this land issue, the cattle have to graze and, you know, this scarce resources, the religious dimension cannot be ignored. Okay? You may ask, how many? Are these just rumors? Well, here's what data shows. Faith-based groups say numbers are extremely high. Human rights NGOs like Amnesty International use strict verification and still confirm thousands are killed and tens of thousands have been displaced. Since 2019, we've had over 5 million people already have been displaced one way or another. But numbers differ because definitions differ. But the trend is undeniable. Let's zoom into one place, Heipang in Plateau State. For years, this community has been attacked. In August 2023, 21 people were killed. In October 2025, fresh raids, villagers say night raids, their homes burnt down, men taken from their beds. They say it was because we were Christians, one of the men said, or one of the wives of the men said, because they were Christians. And despite this, there's little justice, no arrests. And the villagers are living in a state of constant fear. This one village tells the story of many. Okay, not just Yelwa, like I said, I've named a few already. Now, the part that stops you in your tracks is this. There are videos circulating online, and I'm not going to play them, but armed men confessing that they were sponsored. Some senior officials whispered, state governors publicly accusing politicians of arming bandits. We will not be playing these videos, like I said, but please feel free. Google is your friend. YouTube is your friend. Go and find this video. Feel free to go online. They're everywhere. Okay? Now, what we found is this. There's an allegation that some senior officials and power brokers are accused of financing or protecting these armed networks. For example, the governor of Benue State accused a top Abuja-based politician and top Abuja-based politicians even of arming killers. Go online and check out the video for yourself. We fact-checked and discovered that, yes, many of these videos are unverified and, you know, you can challenge them. Security agencies say that they are investigating some of them, that they feel there's an element of truth to the way they say they are investigating it. Some clips may even show, you know, like I saw some of them that were not entirely true, and that's why I wasn't going to play them, because I'm here to bring the facts and I'm here to bring the truth, and I'll leave everybody else to decide, right? There are some clips that may show imposters or miscaptioned footage. So they will, you know, use AI, or they will, you know, put something else in somebody's mouth that they didn't say because of AI and everything else. So I understand that. I'm an IT consultant, so I know what AI when I see one. So those videos, I'm not playing them. But we are left with these credible, repeated claims of sponsorship. But there's no full public proof yet. For our show, like I said, we present both the facts and we show you what we see, and we show you the denials, and then we ask, who will be investigating this? Are people already investigating? So what has the government done so far? They say these are banditry, herder-farmer clashes, and criminality. They condemn the violence. They promise action. But what we see is not quite so. weak protection, slow response, or no response in some of the cases, in fact, most of the cases, and very few prosecutions. Survivors say they come after the bodies are buried. So the police will, start, shooting their guns from afar and wait until the whole thing is over and the people are being buried. That's when they turn up. One state leader asked, "Where is the protection promised to us?" And now the story has gone global. As you all know, just recently, US President Donald Trump issued a strong warning to the Nigerian government, threatening to suspend US aid and calling for immediate action to protect Christian communities. He described the killings as horrific and said the US would consider sanctions or even military measures if the Nigerian leadership failed to stop the violence. Nigerian officials quickly responded, rejecting the idea that the government supports any religious persecution. The Foreign Ministry insists Nigeria's constitution protects freedom of worship and the violence is driven by crime and resource conflict, not policy. But for many watching around the world, that's not enough. Trump's statement, whether you agree with him or not, has reignited global attention on an issue too many have ignored. And suddenly, Nigeria, Africa's giant, is under harsh spotlight. The silence when no one speaks up, becomes part of the story. Why is this crisis escalating? Let's break it down clearly. We know that climate change and desertification are forces, right? We know that these issues are forcing herders to go further south, and this is igniting conflicts over land and water. We understand that. We know that small arms and light weapons are flooding local communities and turning disputes deadly. Now, where are these arms coming from? Who is sponsoring these? We know that there's weak local policing and poor governance. And we know that because of this, it allows attacks to go unchecked and justice to go undelivered. We also know that there's kidnapping, cattle raiding, and ransom economies have turned tragedy into a business. Everybody knows that. And we also know that religious and ethnic identities have been weaponized, transforming economic struggles into acts of terror. These forces don't exist in isolation. They intertwine, spiral, and feed one another. And the ripple effect always hits the most vulnerable the hardest. Now, with the world watching, the stakes have never been higher. Global leaders are calling on Nigeria's government to act. Civil societies are demanding independent investigations and real accountability. Now, this is public reactions, right? Since this show, like I said earlier, I did mention this earlier. Since I announced the show, I've received a wave of mixed reactions. Many of you, my royals, have written to say how grateful you are that we are shining a light on an issue that some in power would rather bury. Others believe that this is violence, all right? And that this violence is part of a bigger cover-up. That those in high places are allegedly collaborating with foreign interests to illegally mine Nigeria's mineral resources day after day, while these atrocities distract the public eye. Some say the two are interlinked, that chaos is being used as a camouflage for exploitation. And yes, a few have accused me, as I said earlier, of spreading propaganda, which, to be honest, I find both disappointing and absurd. Because tell me, when did shining a light on evil become propaganda? When did asking for truth become a threat? I say this with love and conviction. Truth is not an attack. It is a mirror, and sometimes people fear what they see reflected in it. So the question before us remains, will this moment bring real change? Or will the silence continue to win? I'm going to play the last video. This is a very long one, so please bear with me. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Adisa says, politicians arming bandits has been known for a long time. It's happened in Brazil for electoral purposes, but the politicians lost control of the bandit gangs they funded. Absolutely. But tell that to those who are accusing me of spreading propaganda. People know the truth. The problem is, you know, for whatever reason, maybe they know the people who are propagating this, they refuse to do the right thing or to stand up for something that's good. And I always say, if you cannot stand for something, you will fall for anything. All right. Robin says, it's also sad and so evil. Yes, behind anything else like this, there's greed and evil and cowardice from being a true, decent human being. Absolutely. Now, I'm going to play this video. This video is about 11 minutes long. Okay? There is quite a few videos that I cannot play, but this is going to be the last video, and then I will say what I have to say, right? So please bear with me, because this is right from the horse's mouth, people who are directly affected. Okay, so please watch this.
If my government is denying genocide, what will they say about this? United Nations, European Union, take note. This is the genocide of people that were killed. On the fateful day of 7 March 2010, massacre at Dogona Hawa Plateau State. Names of big victims that were killed. Machineries were brought from Niger Republic. They were brought from Chad. They were brought from Burkina Faso, Senegal. They were hired into the nation. They mixed up with those from Maiduguri. There's a Muslim state. Also from Gombe, Muslim state. In fact, the troop into this place, Bauchi, this is the route that they took. By about midnight, they invaded this village. We are living peacefully in this Dogona Hawa. These are the victims of the massacre. Double Beatrice, to 501. Apart from this list that are here, there are many. Only vultures that were dragged into those rocks. Women were dragged for raping that day. Come and see what happened. Look at the monument. Now, can we say there was no genocide in those places? Children are there. There are two accounts of record. The one that I have here, the one that I have here. You can see their list and their ranks in wherever they are. Children were battered. Children, they are among those names. And I have it here, compiled by my father, Reverend Daniel Dung, my brother. We have seen here the name of children and adults. Look at it. Ungola Rababulus, adult. Sandra Beatrice, child. Lydia, child. Obadiah, child. And somebody will come out and say there was no genocide. Nigeria is for all of us. Nigeria is for both Muslim and Christian. Nigeria have been working on Muslim and Christian, Christian and Muslim. Why now? That is marginalization. That is genocide. In the world of the politics, the Islamic people have genocided us by killing the Christian, becoming a second man in Asoro. And the so-called Christian don't know what is happening. And those kind that came out and said there's not the grave, the death of these people is screaming in heaven. 501 people are here. 501. They are right inside it. 501. Please, and then the Senate are coming. Show them this. My Senate are coming to meet their colleagues. Senate, just cruise. Take this and present it to them. Is it not genocide? 501 people. And they were able to stand for Hamas and say Israel is committing genocide. What real genocide is in us? Look at the names that are here. There. They are right here in the grave. Dogonahawa. By the power of Jesus, we are coming back for real documentary. And we have done it, and we continue to show the world since Remo Amokri has invited to fact finding. Do you bring the American people to this place for fact finding? Did you bring them to this genocide ground? Remo Amokri, why didn't you bring them to Plateau to come and see this place? Are they not people? All are Christians. And you come out and tell me that there's also genocide. That even Muslims are to shout down, to wash down that Christians are being killed. Muslims are also killed. By who? Is it we Christians that were killing the Muslims? No. That's not our portion in faith. We love the Muslims. We care for them. And we are ever ready to help them. But yet, they are bent to grab our lands. They are bent to take over our villages. They are bent to take over the state of Plateau State, Benue. They are bent to take over. They are taking over Nasarawa State. And they are bent to take this place. We will fight to finish it. We will defend our land to death. If you don't pray for Christians in Nigeria, be ready to face the judgment. This is what is happening. We are all living under fear caused by some people. May God be with us. In Jesus' name. Amen.
A long-term Islamic agenda to homogenize the population has been implemented over several presidencies through a strategy to reduce and eventually eliminate the Christian identity of half of the population. This strategy includes both violent and non-violent actions, such as the exclusion of Christians from positions of power and adoption of such church members, the raping of women, the killing and expulsion of Christians, the destruction of churches and farmlands of Christian farmers, followed by the occupation of such lands by the Fulani herders, and also changing the names of these villages. They are taking over the places, so you clearly see an expansionist approach and Islamic, and then they are making the people now flee and leave their villages and they conquer it. The quest to Islamalize the land appears high on the agenda of some of the powerful and influential Muslims in Nigeria. There is a campaign to take land to spread Islam. And there is the hemorrhaging of Christian farmers from the central region of Nigeria and Benue State, and Makurdi Diocese in particular, as they are forced to abandon fertile lands that used to feed the nation, which classify Benue as the food basket of the nation. Militant Fulani herdsmen are terrorists destroying society. They steal and vandalize, they kill and boast about it. They kidnap and rape, and they enjoy total impunity from the elected authorities. None of them have been arrested and brought to justice. This is supported by the corrupt system in which we operate and the abject poverty among us, which allow the criminals to easily attract more recruits and prey on more victims. The jihadis come and adopt and kill the priests, leaving thousands without support and basic human services. And of course, when they despise the people, the inhabitants, or the citizens, or the people of the lands, they take over. And any attempt to go back and take care of your farms, surely you get killed. The Makurdi Diocese in Benue State has been the epicenter of the invasion by these herders, who are more like hired guns of cattle oligarchies, who manipulate religion to rally the herders to eliminate the Christian population and cleanse the land in the name of Islam. This objective is behind the relentless attacks against Benue's villages. When we call for help to the police and the army, they do not come. At the end of 2024, several villages were warned by the attackers of the upcoming violence, and the leaders called the police for defense ahead of time. But they did not come, and the Christian massacres, almost customary, took place, killing hundreds in Plateau and Benue, with the worst massacre claiming 47 people. I speak on behalf of those whose loved ones have been killed, but no one has even offered a word of consolation to them. I speak on behalf of the thousands of young girls who have been adopted and raped because no one, not even the media, mentions them anymore. Foremost, I speak on behalf of my flock, who are unable to worship freely and unable to return to their ancestral farms and homes because that land has been ruthlessly taken from them by the armed herdsmen. And where they say they want to live in peace with the natives, if you must farm, you have to pay tax to hire the land which belongs to you. That is slavery, to say the least about it.
The president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, our dear Archbishop Daniel Oko, the president of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN, our beloved Bishop Francis Wale Oke, religious leaders in the Christian community in Nigeria, how far? Did you turn off your mics? What happened to your voices, our dear fathers in the Lord? What exactly is going on? Since the raising of the issue of killing of Christians or genocide in Nigeria by the United States government, your silence have been more audible than all your sermons put together. What exactly is going on? Why are you running, our dear fathers in the Lord? Do you have a problem with the word genocide? Or are you trying to deny that there have been no killing of Christians in Nigeria? What exactly is the problem? Even if you do not agree with genocide or you do not agree with the phrase, do you not agree that insecurity in Nigeria is an issue issue and it should be stopped? What exactly does your silence, what value does it bring to the table? How does keeping quiet and refusing to speak up help the lives of innocent Nigerians who have been slaughtered like animals across the country? Whether you say both Islam and Christians have been killed, do you not agree that it is time to address and take out the common enemy? After all, the US government said that the Nigerian government should move fast to take out the terrorists or they will come and take them out. So who should be worried? Why is anybody afraid? If we agree and we come to a conclusion that both Christians and Muslims are being killed, why should Christians and Muslims not together rejoice that the common enemy should be taken out? Because I think only a terrorist should be afraid of an intervention to take out terrorists. After all, the ruling party were the ones who even began the bringing or the calling of foreign intervention to help handle insecurity. So where does the problem come from? Our dear religious leaders, are you truly called by God as religious leaders to stand to defend the truth and to, after all, that is why our Lord Jesus Christ also came, that the lonely and the poor, the defenseless amongst us will be given a sense of belonging and will be spoken for. The prophets of old were able to speak truth to power and stand to seek justice and truth. What exactly do you stand for, Nigerian Christian religious leaders? Are you truly called by God to do his will and to bring his kingdom here on earth? Or you are, as some persons will perceive, private businessmen who are only interested in protecting personal business interests? Whether or not you agree with the phrase of genocide, is it not a time for you to also reach out to the Muslim community leadership for everybody to know that if you agree that both people from both religions or denominations are being killed, then we should all unite and put pressure on government to take out the common enemy? For weeks and for months, the Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo in the north has been wailing and crying. What exactly have been the position of CAN and PFN? To see that you also lend a voice to stand for justice. Our dear Nigerian leaders, is it all about building cathedrals, and you do not care whether the number of Christians and other members of the family or kingdom who are slaughtered without any repercussions? Our dear religious leaders in Nigeria, what exactly are we preaching and what are we practicing? Why is it that with all our numbers, we have no reasonable influence on society and governance? Is it not still the same religion that built the Western world? Why have the religion in Nigeria only produced more poverty and more criminality and insecurity? If every person in Nigeria worships in either a church or a mosque, who is engaging in criminality? Tomorrow you wait, when you come out, you begin to tell us to pray for leadership, that God said we should pray for our leaders. You are not interested in calling for electoral reforms. You are not interested in lending your voices for free and fair election. So you allow the politicians to rig themselves and perform criminality into office. Then you call us to pray and sanctify and consecrate criminality. This thing where I want to talk, and no one use that to riburuku. Our dear religious leaders, you can do better. If you are truly men of character and integrity, this is a time to unite and put up a common front for humanity, for justice, for truth. Nigerian religious leaders, Christian leaders, pillar of cloud in a day, pillar of fire at night, bulletproof SUV, investment, buying mansions, building houses, getting estates. Jesus is coming soon, Jesus is coming soon. But Daddy Gio, they invest in real estate. Are you sure he's coming soon? Why are we making a mockery of the body of Christ? The body of Christ in Nigeria has become so sick that it needs more attention than even APC. Shame on everybody who at a point like this cannot stand up to speak up for truth and justice and for humanity, that the incessant loss of life should stop. It should not be difficult. It should not be a problem for leaders to come out and say killings are not a normal thing. It should end, whether you agree with the word genocide or not. Shame on all of us. Shame on all of us, Nigerian leaders. Look at the work that Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo has been doing. How many people have reached out to him? How many people are saying that you should do what you can do to protect brethren in the north? If you truly agree that Islam and Christians are also being killed, both Muslim and Christians, is it not time for the leadership of all the two sects to come together and put pressure that the criminals and the terrorists, why should anybody be worried that terrorists are being taken out unless you are a terrorist? Nigerian religious leaders, may God help Nigeria. May the kingdom of God come soon enough, and may God send help to his children in Nigeria, since the gatekeepers and the so-called fathers will decide to be silent at a time when their voices were needed most.
Silence in the face of evil is evil itself. Okay? God will not hold us guiltless if we do not speak out and say the truth. All right? So this is the gentleman that was in the video that he was talking about, Reverend Ezekiel, I think Danjuma is his surname or something like that. Now, I'll continue. So from what we have seen so far, is this genocide? Okay, let's explore it. Let's explore it from the legal perspective. The term genocide carries immense moral and legal weight. By definition, genocide is the intent to destroy in whole or in part a protected group. And religion qualifies as one of those protected groups. Experts caution, they say so far there's no verified evidence of a coordinated national plan by the Nigerian state to eliminate Christians. Okay. However, patterns matter. When you see systemic mass killings, consistent state failure to protect and allegations of official complicity, you are staring at warning signs that the world cannot ignore. We are not sensationalizing this. We don't sensationalize. We present facts like we are doing right now, and we let you decide. But we will never stop asking the hard questions, because silence serves only the oppressor. A lady said, my husband didn't run. They took him in front of me. They said it was because we were Christians. This is a widow from Heipang. So what should we demand? What must we demand together? We should demand an independent international inquiry with full access to witnesses, evidences, and verified chains of custody. Okay, people should not be afraid to come forward to talk about it, talk about their experiences, because they are afraid they are going to be silenced because they spoke up. Okay, we should demand forensic documentations. All right, forensic documentation teams, including medical experts and satellite imagery. All right, to actually see exactly. We see most of these videos that we are seeing, they're videos that people took with their phones. That's why some of them are shaky, right? A lot of them are shaky because the media, most media don't cover it. Most of them, the ones that they cover are the ones that, indigents sent to them, because they are not on ground. All right. There was another video I watched. The gentleman's name is an American man. His name is George Saul. I need you to even go to his website and support him the best possible way. There's two organizations that he runs. One is called Truth Nigeria or something like that. And the other one is called The Persecuted Christian. And he actually told, because they have a lot of intelligence dotted across Nigeria. So when anything is going to happen, they get intelligence. They told the Nigerian government and the various ministries about the attack that happened, right, in Yelwa, in Benue State. They told the Nigerian government, I think 2 weeks before. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. They didn't do anything about it. As a matter of fact, he says, just less than a kilometer away from the scene of the attacks, there was a police barrack, or whatever they call it, army stationed, an army stationed around there. So they knew what was happening. They didn't turn up. And like some of the indigents said, they only turn up, even the reverends and the bishops that were speaking, they only turn up after everything has been done. So we should demand forensic documentation teams, including medical experts and satellite imagery analysis. We should demand immediate protection measures, safe corridors, shelters, and security for vulnerable communities. A lot of them are displaced. A lot of them actually, you saw some of them, the ones that survived, a lot of them actually, they've become disabled. Some of them, they haven't got any limbs. Some of them, they're paralyzed. Some of them, everything. Some of them are suffering from psychological trauma. Imagine a man losing his wife and 4 children. We should demand transparent prosecutions with publicly naming suspects and visible judicial follow-up. These politicians that some of these governors, like Governor of Benue State, accused some of these politicians of sponsoring a lot of these headsmen and things like that. Name names. We cannot continue to perpetuate evil. Name the names, name and shame. We should demand international monitoring and humanitarian relief. All right? And we know that Amnesty International, they're doing their best. They're trying to sustain, things and help and all that, but it's still not enough. We need more assistance. Okay? But we need sustained peace. We need peace until justice is restored. These people that are carrying out all these atrocities, surely they can be. I mean, we've got technology now. a lot of these people, they cannot get away with it. If they were not being sponsored or hidden, they shouldn't get away with it because we can track them. They can be tracked, but nobody's doing anything. The soldiers, as you can see, they only come when the deed has been done. Where were you? Why didn't you turn up when you got the information? When you got information 2 weeks before it happened, you didn't turn up. You waited until it's over. Now you're coming with your arms to come and do what? To do what? Ryan, thank you so much for joining. Ryan says, sad, but you're doing the right thing, bringing awareness and exposure to a serious issue. I'm sure you are not deterred by negative feedback from people. Of course I'm not. Like I said, if you don't stand up for something, you will fall for anything. And I'm not ready to fall for anything. You should know the truth, and the truth will set you free. All right? Riri says, this is very sad. And Edith says this is very sad. And Riri says, you are stating the fact. And those that can't accept it needs to revisit the corruptions and wrongdoings in Nigeria when it comes to religion and accept how we can move forward to make it better. Adisa says, the deliberate and systematic killing of our persecution of large number of people from a particular national or ethnic group with the aim of destroying that nation or group, a campaign of genocide. Exactly. Okay? So that is the Oxford definition of genocide. And it continues, there was previously a significant UK-USA intelligence presence in Nigeria, which I understand has now been wound down. Who knows why? 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 Mr. Solomon, you said the community should defend themselves. How? A people that have been pulled up from their beds and killed. You saw the imageries that they've killed. They're living, only a few people, maybe a few people who have been paralyzed, who are now homeless. How are they defending themselves? They haven't got any arms. They are not being armed. How are they going to defend themselves? These people are carrying not just ordinary, local ammunition. They are carrying AK-47s and AK-48s or whatever they call those things. They are carrying armed weapons, right? So how are they going to defend themselves when these people obviously are more armed than they are? They're just people trying to live their lives. So since the government has failed these communities, the government should arm them to fight back. I guess that's what you wanted to say. But the government is not doing a lot. They keep saying this is bad, this is terrible, we condemn this, we condemn that. But let's see the measures you've put in place to change this. Let's see what you are doing. Let's see what you are doing to change this. You cannot just condemn things, but it's still happening. Right? Guys, I don't want to take too long. I hope we'll just take about an hour. So all I'm saying is, guys, your voice matters. Your silence, if you don't want to speak up, also tells the story. But here's how you can help right now. For those of us who are here, share this show because awareness saves lives. Sign, if there's a petition around you that you know about, sign it. Sign any petition that comes, or even create one yourself, right? Yes, we live in the UK. We don't live in Nigeria. Nigerians, sign a petition, create one and send to your local governors. The ones that live abroad, the ones that live in the UK, America, all over the world are also create petitions, sign them. Because the world has had enough of this. Nigeria is probably, and I don't stand corrected because I am very, very sure of this. Nigeria is easily the richest nation in the world. Because we're not just blessed with oil. We're blessed with natural resources. Natural resources. Name it. Name it. We have it. Name anything at all. We have it. The worst part of it all is that right now, as we speak, we have some elements who have decided to collaborate with foreigners, and I'm not going to mention countries, but you all know, because if you go online, you see everything, to siphon our mineral resources. Some of them have actually built private airstrips where they land their planes and their helicopters, siphon our gold, our californium, all the other minerals and natural resources that we have, diamonds, all those, they take them abroad. Nobody is saying anything. What we need to do is stand up and say enough is enough. Let's support credible humanitarian organizations who are on the ground, okay? And even the ones in the world, across the globe, you know, who want to fight for this. Let's support them the best way that we can. If you have a local MP, whether it's in Africa or anywhere, other part of the world that you're watching from, contact them. Ask them to push for accountability and international oversight. Every voice adds weight. You know, there's a part in the Bible that says that a threefold cord cannot easily be broken. Every voice adds weight. Every click that you click to send an email to somebody to get somebody to act, every click that you click this video to share with someone, every act of courage, no matter how small, it also adds to making a positive change and a positive difference. Okay? Okay? So what I'll say finally is that some warn us, like they warned me. They said, you know, I should not say anything. First, somebody said to me, I shouldn't air this show because there's no need for it, that I'm just trying to speak when there is nothing to speak about, that this is nothing really. There are more important things, that there are more important things that I need to worry about, like the economy. Anyway, I'm not even going to go there because I want to say things, but I'm not going to say anything. Right? So we know that this is some form of genocide, whether you accept it or not, right? But we're not going to say it is. We're just going to say that we don't want to inflame any tensions. So we will just leave it as it is and say we would tread carefully so that we don't incite anything. But caution must never become paralysis. We can be responsible in our words and still be urgent in our actions. Silence may feel safe, but your silence is not neutral. All right? You are either for or you are against. If you are silent, you are actually against, because there's no neutral ground in this matter. You're either for or you are against. So silence is not neutral, because silence protects no one except the guilty. Okay? Guys, let me see what you're saying. Solomon says community to defend themselves since the governments failed to defend. Yeah, I know that. Keep your comments coming in. But sufficing to say that these people that died, they didn't all die in front of the pages of newspapers and you know, TV and stuff like that. They died in churches. They died in the villages. They died on farmlands. They died in their own beds. They died unseen, unheard, and uncounted. But we see them now. And seeing demands responsibility. Justice does not live on paper. It doesn't live on the internet. It breathes only when we protect it. Truth does not survive in silence. It lives when we speak, like I am speaking now. So tonight, we are speaking. We remember those people that have died, and we pray for their souls to rest in peace. But we refuse to be silent witnesses to suffering. Because if we lose our ability to feel, our ability to act, our ability to care, then darkness wins. I'm your host, Cleopatra. This has been Empower Life with Cleopatra, where we shine the light where darkness hides. We ask questions others fear, and we give voice to the unheard. Guys, thank you so much for standing with the truth, for standing with courage, for choosing to empower life by sharing this video, by liking, by subscribing, right? Thank you so much for watching. Until next week, stay bold, stay strong, stay awake, stay human, make a difference, all right, by sharing this video, okay? Thank you all so much for joining once again. Until next week, bye for now. Take care of yourselves.
Empower life with Cleopatra. Awaken the best version of you. Unlock your true potential. Empower your mind, body, and soul. Live with intentions, live with a purpose. Empower your dreams, make it happen today. No matter your age, rise and shine. Rise and shine. Live boldly, live authentically. Live boldly, live authentically. It's your time to rise and shine. Empower life with Cleopatra. Awaken the best version of you. Your journey starts today. You've got one life to live. Love yourself, be kind to others, break free and let your spirit soar. Empower life with Cleopatra will help you awaken the best version of you.